Hello, today I want to address some security threats related to Android smartphones. This literature survey explains some security vulnerabilities related to the smartphone based on Android platform. This survey here shows that with the time, the smartphones become the dominant between other devices, and users spend more time to use their mobile phone. The popular operating systems that are used by a smartphone are Google Android and Apple iOS. These devices contain very sensitive information like ID, bank account, GPS location, and contact information. The Illinois Community College Trustee Association reported 3,000 real-time applications with accuracy 88% found that 150 security leaks in 20 applications. Also, Android version 5 was hacked to crash its lock screen. Android platform architecture. Android was designed to be open source software based on Linux kernel. Linux kernel contains some hardware drivers, one of them called Binder, by which the different application components communicate through it. Another important component called the Dalvik virtual machine to provide runtime environment for Android application. Also, there is an API that allows different application interact with each other and also with the hardware. Android operating system security threats. Google Play provides a lot of application to their users, but these applications weren't verified very well. Instead, Google Play uses a dynamic method called bouncer to provide kind of security check. Also, this graph shows malicious codes that are reported by Kaspersky Lab. Alright, the common top 5 Android malwares are listed here. Malware is a malicious software, can be harmful software, like viruses, worms, Trojan horses, or spywares. All these types of malwares can infringe Android operating system in different ways. So maybe send sensitive information without user consent, or send SMS intentionally, or even halt the system to become unresponsive. The common types of malwares here, as we see, the most dominant one is PJ apps, the most common. Also, there is several type of malware reported by Kaspersky, detected by Sophos antivirus. Okay, Android security mechanisms. Generally, Android uses 6 security checks for security enforcement, like sandbox, permission, runtime security, verify apps warnings, verify apps consent. Basically, Android has 2 methods to security check. First, sandboxing. It is responsible to provide specific environment for each application to be executed. So each application given a unique ID called user ID at installation time. And sometimes these ID used to be shared, like a shared user ID when these applications use the same process. Application permission, package manager granted the permission at an installation time, and application framework enforce these permissions at runtime. Permission levels. Here we're going to talk about the permission levels that Android security provide, like a normal minimum risk granted by default at installation time, dangerous, high risk, accessing private data, can be sensitive information. This permission given by the user must granted and approval also at installation time of application. Signature granted only if the requesting application is signed with the same developer certificate. Lastly, signature or system granted automatically at installation time. Requesting application signed with the same certificate as Android system or with application that declare this. Also, I am going to talk about SMS-based attacks, also known as SMS malware, like SMS spam, SMS premium rate fraud, SMS flooding, SMS privacy attack. All these SMS malwares can attack smartphones silently and do some actions without user knowledge. Okay, I'm gonna talk about the security differences between Android and iOS. Both provide security checks in different ways. Google used Bouncer, this is a dynamic emulated checking, and Apple used very restricted check, even manually check. As reported by U.S. Department of Homeland Security and U.S. Department of Justice, and found that the Android platform is more vulnerable to security threats. This table here answers why Apple iOS is more secure than Google Android platform. So Apple iOS has hardware encryption instead of software encryption. Also, we see here some differences between Android and Apple iOS. So in Apple iOS, antivirus not required since there is a checking has been done in the store application. Okay, evaluation of Android pitfalls and solutions. Security issue depends on the user awareness. The user can download and install application, whether this application is safe or not. In this case, antivirus could help with that, but some antiviruses don't have sufficient rights to perform deep scan into file system due to enforced operating system security model. So iOS, however, solved this problem by using fourth authentication procedures to help with that. Second, drawbacks at permissions levels. Android verifies application by coarse-grained grant. For example, internet permission don't able to restrict a specific URL. Some solutions to fix this issue using a set of fine-grained control or by using an application called secure application interaction to give permission during the installation time to check this application is safe or not. Third, some pitfalls have found in the sandboxing mechanisms, and that because of the share user ID method. This method will raise some vulnerabilities that can exploited by attackers. The solution, though, is by using a tool called the Scandroid to analyze the information flow. As we saw, security in Android is likely user dependent and no security check during runtime. This issue was solved by a system called NBS. This system monitoring accessed resources at runtime, and then the user has to give approval according to that action. So it's limited to the user knowledge to give this approval. Alright, there is also drawback in memory management that would help attackers to cause system failure or force system to shut down unexpectedly. This issue was fixed by making a small changing in Android operating system as security patches. Android security model doesn't have suitable defenses against SMS-based attack. Also, there is a proposal to solve this issue by using IAS system, to monitor malware action in the mobile system. Okay, as we see from the previous slides, the attacker have succeeded to deploy their malicious codes, and that because there's existing security drawbacks not only in Android but also in iOS. Apple iOS more safe platform than Google Android, since Android has some lacks in its security model. So the researchers try to fix this security problem by making some software solutions. But these software solutions affect the performance of Android system because it has limited resources. And finally, in this case, the Android platform need to refine and redesign its model, its security model to provide safe environment by providing secure hardware. Thank you for your attention.